I'm Sabina Ramsey. Our company was asked to shed some light on Jordan Gardens in the Highland Beach neighborhood in Niagara Falls, New York. Over the past few months, we have been interviewing Niagara Falls Housing Authority staff, Jordan Gardens residents, elected officials, neighbors, and the greater community. We want to say thank you to Niagara Falls Housing Authority, Mayor Rustino, Niagara Falls High School, Attorney General Letitia James, New York State, and Enterprise Community Partners. Please sit back and watch the voices of Jordan Gardens. The first time I came to Niagara Falls, I was shocked. Being from Sweden, I was as much of an outsider to this area as a person could be. I had obviously known about the falls and what a wonder they are, but I didn't expect to see parts of the city in such need of attention and care. What visitors to Niagara Falls don't see are the communities just outside the downtown area. When you venture away from the natural wonders and entertainment, you find the city's north end.
The falls is right here. Our community is not like it's 10 miles away from everything. We're right here in walking distance of everything that's going on.
Residents of Jordan Gardens Affordable Housing Complex say they feel their area has been forgotten about over the years. What hasn't been forgotten about is the memory of a once thriving community.
I am walking in love and victory. By stripes I am healed. By stripes I am healed.
North End, for me, is home. There was a popular store known as Miss King's on Highland Avenue.
Mrs. King store, the store is still here, but Mrs. King was someone who everybody in the community knew.
And that's where we used to go to get our small groceries. The kids would go to get their snacks.
She was a very sweet woman, but she's also she also made sure you were doing what you were supposed to do. The community was also like a parent, because everybody knew everybody, and so when you messed up, whoever was there as an adult, pretty much had the authority to put you in check.
We had centers to go to. We had like volleyball contests, dance contests, and things like that. Baseball, volleyball.
On this corner here, the top of the hill on the weekends, at night everybody came to the hills. The best milkshakes, gizzards and rice. The community was thriving.
My personal opinion of the area, if I could think of one word to describe it, it would be community. And if I could think of a phrase to describe it, it would be community and relationship.
Jordan Gardens is like one big family. It is a closely tight neighborhood. You do get to know your neighbors just a little bit better because you're so close to them.
The best thing about the community here at Jordan Gardens is it's beginning a sense of family again, and we see residents sticking together, coming out, and I like to see them getting involved.
What I love about our community is we're sensitive to each other's needs. This community, if you're in need, there's a lot of resources that you can turn to, that you can find help. The community will come together for the needs of the people.
The fields is big, the fields are big, and it's a free open space right there.
What about, let me hear you say, what about I'm close to my friends?
Oh yeah, I'm close to my friends too.
I quickly learned that there's so much heart here. The people in this community are dedicated to uplifting their area and city and determining what can be done to make this happen successfully. My team, along with the help of the city's youth, aim to raise the voices of the residents of Jordan Gardens. This is their history. Where they are now and their visions for a flourishing future.
From what I understand, Niagara Falls used to be a heavy populated place with plants, you know, the industries.
On Highland Avenue, you had a little bit of everything. And so with industry, from here all the way back, jobs, 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 jobs.
There was a huge influx of people of color coming into the New York area because there were so many jobs available. But there was very little, next to none, housing. And so Jordan Gardens was built primarily to house those larger families.
And then when the industries left, that neighborhood began to decline. As the jobs left, it also negatively impacted the families that didn't, because it may not have been so easy for them to obtain work elsewhere.
When the government realized that things changed, they didn't invest in this community.
When we grew up, it was like any other neighborhood. We had a lot of small businesses, restaurants, cafes, you know, that type of thing. I could walk up that street, I could eat, I could get my hair cut, you know, I can go back home, you know, have a good day.
A lot of my memories were when I was little, staying on Garden Avenue. We used to go up to the community center, which is no longer with us, but we used to walk up there. We used to swim in the pool. It was a community pool, and we just had lots of fun. Those memories, it's like yesterday for me.
So I actually lived right across the street here from Jordan Gardens, from, you know, a baby up until about the age of 19. So I saw actually the transformation that took place with this development here and the changes that actually took place on Highland. So at one point, you know, there were some restaurants, there was 2 grocery stores, things for a place where people actually gathered, right? People gathered, they felt comfortable with each other, and they were able to socialize in that setting while being able to meet their needs.
Now, I would say, you know, it's less lively. You know, there is no stores anymore. A lot of boarded up housing. No grocery store, no barber shops.
Used to be a barber shop here and another deli over there. All this is just vacant land when it used to be owned by black businesses.
People go to the barber shop, they laugh, they tell stories, they tell jokes. And you know, when they don't have that to do, you just miss it.
This area, there's a food desert. The people from this area has to travel at least 2.5, maybe 3 miles to the nearest grocery store.
Residents outside the city or whatever, there's always banking, there's always somewhere you can go. With us, it's not an option here.
Back in my day, we had gyms, we had work programs. We don't have none of that no more. These kids don't have an outlet, you know what I mean? So they turn into the wrong things.
The kids need something to do. The young kids, they don't have the opportunities that we had. You know, when you don't have nothing to do, you find something to do. Either it's right or it's wrong.
Some of even the adults, they don't have no outlets. The jobs is lacking jobs, they lacking the outlet. It's ruining the neighborhood, so it's hard to rebuild something if you're not giving these people something to shoot for to help build the community back up.
3M's used to be the spot where, you know, on the weekends, a lot of adults would go out, you know, have a good time. The building is still here, business is not, but it was Highland was a thriving community.
The city of Niagara Falls is paying an awful lot of attention into our tourist sector, but the North End has had multiple cultural evolutions, and now, you know, it sits as the center of our African American community, and much has not been done there.
Unfortunately, this area is poverty stricken, so this area got forgotten about the most. Not a lot of resources. High crime rates, you know, children missing out on different opportunities in life to succeed and grow. So I can tell you how it feels emotionally.
How does it feel emotionally?
Left out, forgotten about. Am I human?
This is Jordan Gardens. They're in the process now of redeveloping this. This in a couple of years will be completely new.
We need a lot of renovations over here at Jordan Gardens. It's been there for a long time, and things need to change.
These projects were built in 1962. They're not, like, I wouldn't say really depreciated, but they're depreciated enough to be rebuilt.
I'm just showing you a typical apartment. This is a public housing unit. This is
You know, how when people move in, as you can see behind you, there are, you know, it's dated. The appliances are pretty dated, and we need to do better with our cabinets and you know, living space and things like that. So this is tough, and this is what we're trying to redo.
So what do you think needs to change at this at Jordan Gardens?
I really don't even know.
New kitchens?
Well, that definitely, and maybe a hot water tank for every last apartment.
Absolutely. What about new bathrooms?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely new bathrooms.
Some of these bathrooms are jacked up.
I get it. What about floors?
Ooh, a whole different story, man.
I'm just stuck here. I try to do everything that I can in the community to try to build it up. And we have so many young children, and they deserve a playground, they deserve a decent home to live in.
How do you feel about your house?
It's all right.
It's all right.
So do you have a good playground?
Jordan Gardens is in the middle of two other apartment complexes that have already been renovated. Center Court and Unity Park are up to date, whereas Jordan Gardens is a little dated. You can pick which one you want to live on just by looking out and outside. For instance, no central air, so somebody in the summertime with breathing problems, that would be the issue. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like you're home. It feels like I'm in an institution. It doesn't feel like home because you have to stay with the times.
I think it's honorable that people can see the North End and where it was and where they'd like it to be. But I think what's more important than anything is getting the people of that community involved. And I think that once people can realize that what you do doesn't just impact you, I think that we'll be in a better place. But we have to address the barriers that people face in order for them to get there.
As a community, what do you think people as individuals or the community as a whole can do to make the community that you're living in, say, a better place, a safer place? What do you think could be changed?
Well, first thing, we have to be all together. You know, nobody, if we're not all together, nothing gonna happen. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's why we have to unite everybody. It doesn't matter if it's African American, Puerto Rican, Spanish people. Everybody has to be united on one person, and then we can start talking about it.
People are interconnected. This is a small place. If you're not related, you're connected in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And just to bring back the emotion and love to that is what I would like to see. And I think that it would bode well for the Niagara Falls community in general. You know, let's begin to embrace each other for what we are and not focus so much on our differences. And I think that'll get us a long way.
I'm thankful for where I live, and I'm thankful for being here in Jordan Gardens, and I'm very proud of where I live. But I would like to say that I would like to see an improvement. A big thing that stands out for me that needs improvement is the mental health, because to me it gets pushed around and sometimes not a solution is found.
I would like to see more training programs over here, if anything.
At one time we had what was called Trot Vocational High School, where they taught trades and building trades, plumbers, electricians. I know college is important, but if that is not for them, put them into trades so that they will be able to feed their families and to make a really good living.
My mom went back to school when she was like 48 years old. Me, myself, I went to college in my 30s. Even with the elderly, let them know it's not over so we can have training for them.
What I would like to see is a little more security cameras implanted on the buildings.
We need more public transportation in the city, and it's not offered here so much. That's one of the big problems where we're at now, is just getting to certain places, getting there.
Getting people sufficient enough to be able to have their own transportation is what I'd like to see.
We have a lot of unused area, so being able to put things, agencies or businesses or something like that in position to be able to help. It could be stores, it could be anything, you know, laundromats, anything. We've tried a lot of different things.
Enhancements would be park-like entities and grocery store, if it could be.
I would say a grocery store would be a great thing. I'd love to see even some of our small businesses start to thrive on that side of town.
We always talk about bringing a big store over here like a Wegmans or a Walmart, but I think a family-owned business is a lot better. I think so. We train somebody that maybe wants to own a business, and instead of waiting for Walmart or Wegmans to come here, let's build our own. Why not build our own?
All these lots that we have in this community, they need to become lots where first-time homeowners are taking over these properties, because home ownership is what's going to be the key to restore this community. Even though they may not be able to get a $70,000, $80,000 loan, somehow the city's going to have to do some grants or something to help them out. And so I think that's what we have to look at is just how do we make it happen, because we can't make it happen the regular way. People just can't afford to do it.
I don't necessarily think community center saves lives. I do think they help you build up, though. They build you up. Doris Jones has been a mainstay, again, the heart of the community.
Well, you got people that strive for trying to do things, and a lot of times they got to have the resources to do it. This building has always been a blessing to me, because that's what we do. We try to provide as much services for people to help better themselves and grow. This agency alone, since we've been here, I've been able to know some of the young people come through that's turned out to be lawyers, doctors, professional athletes. We've helped establish a lot of people to get their degrees in college and so forth. It's a lot of good success stories that can come out through here.
We overwatch the kids, take care of the building, make sure things get done around here, make sure they ain't sloppy looking.
The kids is fun, they funny too, they like to have fun. We do a lot of things for them, give them food, we go in the gym, we play basketball with them, we do a lot of stuff.
It's a great opportunity. Most kids always can't work, most of them out on the street, so I take it as it's a blessing to have this job.
There is leadership responsibility, and there is also self-responsibility, and those accountabilities have to meet in the middle. Nothing works unless you do, and that is for the leaders and that is for the people. Nothing works unless you do.
On October 27th, a Jordan Gardens community meeting was held in the Doris Jones Family Resource Building. Before the Halloween party began, Clifford Scott, the executive director of the Niagara Falls Housing Authority, made a major announcement. The Housing Authority is submitting an application to the Department of Housing and Urban Development for the renovations of Jordan Gardens and asking for community approval to move forward on this application during the meeting. These renovations will bring the apartment complex up to modern living standards. Scott announced other plans for 2022, including renovations of the complex community gardens, a certified nurses aid class for residents seeking employment, a mobile bank coming to the community 3 days a week, and a single-family home ownership program in collaboration with the mayor.
Everybody raise your hand if you want the Housing Authority to move forward with the renovations in Jordan Gardens. Raise your right hand. So the majority rules, we're moving forward. Thank you. It's time for pizza. Let's eat.
I think Cliff, I don't know how he did it, but him positioning himself the way he has and created a seat at the table for himself, it trickled down into the community. I feel like with him being in a position that he in, the North End cannot be forgotten about.
With the new development that's going on, very happy and very excited about everything.
My heart is here, and I'm just looking forward to moving forward. Now we're going to have like dishwashers and central air and just live up to standards.
Being renovated for health purposes and just overall, I think that's fabulous.
The new fixtures, the new decorations and things that they're doing inside the buildings, it's all welcome to us.
I think it is beyond fantastic. Just the new renovations, the new community space, the gardens that's coming up. I'm just ecstatic about hearing about them.
We're going to have our own bank. We're going to have our own community within the community. I think that's what our children need to see instead of being told that they're living in a ghetto and that they're poor and they don't deserve things, because we deserve it all.
The plans and proposals by the Niagara Falls Housing Authority to create single-family homes and to improve the district certainly are consistent with my thinking that our city needs to improve across a number of sectors and not just in those special places that are important to other people. The strength of a city is really evidenced by the investment they make in their neighborhoods. This investment that is proposed by the Housing Authority certainly is one of those projects that will present that kind of pride and that kind of excellence within our community.
If you change the face of Jordan Gardens, you change the way people think. People tend to, I'm gonna take better care of something that I had an input in saying something about. Clifford Scott has been good about keeping the community engaged, having community meetings.
A lot of times we, community members, we don't even have a seat at the table. We're not even offered. But throughout all my works and learnings and trainings of getting to where I am, to be the co-founder of the Kylan Clubhouse, I learned if you ask people what they want, they can tell you. And meeting people where they are is the most important.
When you talk about collaboration, you talk about trying to get something like this done, collaborating with agencies such as the state, city, county, and then not-for-profits, and having all of them at the table, but having the community there to hear and also have the community hear from them, it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference because people feel like they had buy-in. So when the product actually comes out and people can see that we talked about that, that was something I brought up, that makes a difference.
She want to move to the penthouse. I don't see no rings on it. I will put Shuddy in check, but what she gonna check me for? I tell her back to the trap, that's where that green coming. If we meet at the spot, then we not gonna sneak on it. I can meet in me park.
The best parts of our city are those where our friends and family live. And so the important thing is not just to focus, although it is important to our economy, not just to focus on tourism areas, but to focus on neighborhoods, to focus on those places that are important for families to grow up, children to enjoy.
Jordan Gardens, some people consider it a project, which is just a name. For some people, it's a stigma, and they feel like they're going down in society if they live here. But the truth is, you can be whoever you want to be. You can be the next president and still have lived in Jordan Gardens or coming out of Jordan Gardens and going to a different city. This is a base for all your greatness.
I'm hoping that people will not see the changes that are taking place as challenges and just look to embrace something new and take ownership of it and allow the community to flourish in the way that it did some years ago when I was coming up.
It's unfortunate that, it's kind of, going downhill from when we were a kid. But, what do you do? All you can do is try to bring it back up.
It takes a group effort. Just don't give up. You know what I mean? You gotta set a goal and stick with it. You can't let nothing distract you. I tell my sons that.
Things is coming along here. It's just not no overnight thing.
It is clear the issues facing Niagara Falls are felt not just by those passing through or frequently visiting like myself, but especially by those living and working within the city. There's passion and commitment here to lift the city up and focus on the people and the neighborhoods, not just points of tourism. Collaborative efforts are moving forward to improve infrastructure, safety, and business opportunities for the entire North End. By working together and remembering it's the people who matter here, positive, lasting change can happen.
What hasn't changed is the people who care for one another in that community. So it is certainly home for me. I would say, if I could describe that in the culture, it would be tenacity in one word. It's a community that doesn't give up and always fights for the current needs of the people that live there.
I can see Shorty, she ain't have no tools on her. That means she door packed like she ain't got no dude on her. I don't stand to them chicks, you'll get hit leaving. I leave you weak in your body, call that pain management. Why them ends be steady coming, don't know how to handle it. Why they always want to travel but didn't do no damages. It's like you snapped at piranhas, like Benny F. Wahanas. I could pull up and I shot it, leave it twisted when I knocked it. I call them little boys, but it's fellas at the collars. Not pimping but got scholars. I'm always going for a throttle. I can put Shorty on neck and watch how her eyes roll. I watch how the time goes. I don't play them games, but you can watch how my mind goes. I dumped the last chick, I had to watch how that dime goes.
Yep.
I'm Sabina Ramsey. Thank you for watching the Voices of Jordan Gardens. I hope that you are inspired to become a part of the revitalization of Jordan Gardens and the Highland Beach neighborhood in Niagara Falls, New York.